I'm muted and I started a big spiel there. I'm just going to get to some of the comments that have come in, William.
All right, mate.
We've got Aldo McNaughty says, one more sleep, I am buzzing like a wine at Crimbo. We've got Stephanie Cameron, I wonder who that is. Callum says, hi Daddy, he can't wait to see Buffalo lift the trophy tomorrow. I was expecting to see Cammy cry after he's seen that. We've got Ross 208, I hope we spank Aberdeen tomorrow. I like this one. Name Gary Mack as a sub just for the banter. Something I would do. We've got a Facebook user. Good evening, troops. Hope we get to see Jimmy Bell get his hands on the trophy tomorrow. I think we would all love to see that. And just finally, and I'll leave this with you, left back, you've got to consider the boy Doig at Hibs. So I'll leave that with you. Any more comments, you'll see me very, very shortly.
Yeah, look, I suppose that is an interesting one. You know, the kid's obviously now up for Young Player of the Year. I'm obviously a bit kind of, you know, so I look at James Maxwell and see a lot of ability in James. So I'm kind of 50-50 on bringing in another left back when we've got a really talented young player coming through. If we were to lose Barisic, do you think we need to go out and sign an experienced international player? Or do you think that we look maybe to try and like sort of promote somebody early like James Maxwell? Or do you think that's too early, Scott Young?
I'd say it's probably too early. I'd look at what we've done with Tav and Patterson this season and maybe do something like that with, if it's not Barisic, more experienced left back and Maxwell coming in for the cup games. If Barisic is injured, start Maxwell instead of Bassey possibly. I would say it's too early to shove Maxwell in first choice in a team that's defending a title, defending an unbeaten run and going into the Champions League. I think if that doesn't work out, that could almost ruin the boy. Like we saw it with Miles Bierman a few years ago. He came in, done okay at the start, and then screwed up against Celtic, and we don't know what happened to him since. So I think we do need a more experienced left back in the now. I've name doesn't come off top. Maybe Doig is the option, but again, he's 21, 22. So I'd say probably go out and sign a more experienced left back now.
I'm pretty sure Doig is only about 18 or 19, to be honest. I'm pretty sure he's still around about that age. So, you know, that would be one of those decisions that, you know, if you did go out and try and sign him, then I think it would all but, you know, be difficult for Bassey or Maxwell to get in the team at that point. So that's where the manager's got to look at, you know, the right type of left back. So I think that's obviously a big decision if the manager does go out to try and recruit somebody like that. I'll come to you,
I think, to be honest with you, that Doig needs to stay at Hibs for his own development. I mean, I think Hibs are obviously short of cash. They knocked back offers for the big donkey at the back and Kevin Nisbet. So they will cash in on. I would say Nisbet's probably the one that they'll probably get maybe $3 million for. He's a player I would like us to take a punt on, but certainly not at £3 million. Doig, for me, I think he just stays at Hibs and he develops, keeps playing games. He gets the 30-40 games next season, and then next summer he might be a different situation. James Maxwell, I mean, we've spoke about it privately, William. I think that the next stage in his development is a move to a top flight side. I mean, I'd mentioned Hearts as an option. I think fans back in the stadium, you know, a good level of expectation and pressure. I think that would be an ideal next loan. Borna, I do expect to go this summer, so I would be looking for a whether it's an international left back or, I mean, I spoke to somebody, the boy Barry Douglas, the Scottish boy that's I think potentially at Leeds now. I don't think he's had much games under Bielsa, but somebody like that, I don't know if he'd be available. He's always looked decent in games prior to his move to Leeds, but I think it needs to be a first choice left back that comes in, because Bassey is still very raw, and Maxwell, I think, would benefit from a season loan where he can get 25-30 games.
Yeah. I suppose one of the questions I was going to kind of like sort of sideshow with was, obviously the last couple of years in Europe we've maybe not had enough homegrown players or enough Scottish players to fill the squad. Is that something, Graham, that we need to look at in the summer, or is it just a matter of you bring the best quality players in that you can?
I think if it's for left back, if Barisic goes, I think it's definitely a first senior left back that we would need. And I wouldn't like to sign Doig because Maxwell, I think, is good enough, but it's like Cammy says, a year on loan in the Premier League would be the best for him. And plus, Ross Wilson always likes creating pathways. So if he, as you said earlier, if Doig, we sign him, that's Maxwell's pathway blocked. So I would definitely agree with that. But so I'd say it's definitely a first choice left back if we need it.
Yeah, it's obviously a big summer because, I mean, at the moment we're obviously guessing. We think we kind of roughly know, potentially because of the Euros. Barisic is at that age now where he's probably looking at one big contract, you know, with the rest of his career. If he gets one huge move and earns a big salary, that would obviously be something that he would probably think about. At the end of the day, he's the first choice left back for Croatia. You know, I don't think that was ever something that any has thought about. That first kind of 6 months we watched Borna, we weren't really too sure how he was a Croatian international left back at Rangers. Because, I mean, I know the night, obviously, when he played for Osijek, I think we were all thought, he's a really good player, but then when he rolled up in the Rangers jersey, it seemed like a totally different guy. But then for whatever reason, he just, I think it was the goal against St Mirren, the free kick, it just seemed to spark him, and ever since then, he's just been absolutely sensational. But I do think he is possibly one that we might lose in the summer. And then that's a position that has never been easy to fill. Like, left backs are never easy positions to fill. There's not a lot of very good left backs out there. And I think we've seen that over the years. It's not an easy position to go and add someone. But just like Graham was saying earlier, it always seems like Ross Wilson's got something kind of up his sleeve and he's ready to try and move towards that. Right, we're probably about halfway, maybe slightly more than that through the pod. We're going to obviously look at tomorrow after the game, you know, the excitement for the fans, the feelings, the emotion of what we've been through the last 10 years. What are you looking forward to most, Scott Young? Is it seeing the trophy getting lifted, or is it seeing the supporters celebrate? What is it for you that's going to maybe make you a bit emotional?
For me, it's the trophy, because to be honest, all I've seen recently, I can remember parts of the Walter Smith 3-in-a-row team, but all I've seen recently is failure, to put it bluntly. Going into my Celtic pals, top at 9, 10 in a row, but just to see Tav lift that trophy tomorrow, it's going to bring all these emotions to the forefront, because we know, as I said, all I've seen is failure, apart from this season, obviously, and to see this season be the success that it has been, it's been unbelievable. And to go unbeaten tomorrow and see Tav lift the trophy, I'll be, as some of the comments say, I'll be away at Christmas. I don't think I'll sleep tonight.
Graham, is there anybody in particular that you're excited to see lift the trophy after all these years?
There's only one man for me, and that's Morelos. I'm smiling now just thinking about it. I generally will. That'll be some sight. I hope it goes mental. He does it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, I think there is certain players that maybe for supporters, there's a feeling, you know, like Tav, after all the time he's been at Rangers, he's obviously come through in the Championship. He's been through some of the tough times where he's had to roll up at Ibrox and Parkhead and see us get heavily defeated in Celtic games and stuff like that. So I think this season for him has been extra special. I think he'll be emotional after this one. I think when you put so much into your time at Rangers, people were kind of critical of Tav for a period. People were talking about selling him, that we needed somebody else, and I think for guys like that, it's going to be extra special. What about yourself, Cammy? What are you looking forward to most?
All I can say is, if you're saying that Tav's going to be emotional, that will not help me in the slightest. To be honest with you, and listen, you nailed it there. He's been through some absolute pumpings across the other half of the city. Real low moments where he's lost goals at the back post at Tynecastle, gave goals away at Parkhead, survived Pedro, Murty, Warburton. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable, the resilience and the character within him, and that's why. I mean, we've joked about it in the group chat and various things this week. That's why he's my player of the year. I know that it's only for this season, but his contribution this season, goals, assists, leadership. Seeing the first 3 or 4 months of the season, I mean, the goal against Galatasaray where he starts the move. I mean, I watched it earlier on. Somebody shared it on Twitter. He starts the move, ping, ping, ping. He's up there at the back post, not knocking it in. I mean, that's probably the goal of the season. I mean, it's probably no one that sticks out for a lot of people because you think he roofing, what have you. But that sums up Tav in the first 3 or 4 months of the season. I mean, he was 9 out of 10. He was scoring. He was the top goal scorer in Scotland at one stage.
I know.
And he's sitting on 19 goals. I hope he scores tomorrow because I think for a Rangers fullback to score 20 goals would be absolutely. It'd be as important as the unbeaten run and the 100 points tomorrow. I think that would be the cherry on the cake. But Morelos is just going to go mental. You just know it. You're watching him at Ibrox today, and he looks. I've never seen him look as happy. And that for me, I hope that he stays and he gets to see a full Ibrox again. But to get back to you, I'm digressing.
It's all right.
I'm excited. Sorry, I'm excited. Tav, 110%. He's the man and the gaffer. I think they're the two people that, and I think the manager might get emotional as well because this is one hell of an achievement for him.